It's time for another SEO Content Machine X Changelog video where we talk about all the feature additions and bug fixes, this time for the month of March 2022. I'm going over the changelog, which is located under Help Changelog and it's listed here in your application. If you haven't seen it already in the UI, you may have noticed that GPT-3 OpenAI's AI model has been added to SEO Content Machine Next now. You can get free credits for the AI generator. Just click and follow this link. Everyone gets a bunch of free credits to try out the generator. Now, the generator at the moment is only available within the writing assistant. So how it works is, first of all, it only generates content based on some content suggestions. What that means is you have to select text, and based on the prompt you give it from the selection, you can choose what type of content you want to generate. So you have three that's been loaded into the application for now. You have add copy, summarize, and review. So I'm going to choose summarize, generate usage. You click on the button, and at the bottom you can see the generated text. Now, if you want to use the text that was generated, you just click on this box here, and it adds it to your article. So here was my original text, and here was the generated text. Now, if I wanted to get a new text generation, I just click the button again. And once again, here we go. We got some AI generated content. Now, the great thing with this, of course, is most of the times, if not all the time, the generated content will be unique because we're using AI to do the generation. Now, the reason why you need a prompt is you need to tell the AI what kind of sentence it wants to model so it can generate some continuous content to follow after that. Now you have the summarize, you have a review. So if you needed to, let's say, generate reviews for a product, you can actually put in the product description, select that, and use that as a prompt to generate some reviews. If you wanted to rewrite some content and have it used as ad copy or just another way of writing about content, you can use the ad copy type here. So feel free to sign up for some free credits. Give the AI generator a run. You can contact me info@seocontentmachine.com to give you feedback on the tool and any other feature suggestions you might have. Inside the Mass Article Creator, under the image insert section, there's been a big upgrade to what you can do inside it now. Firstly, you can select what image sources you want to use. So we have here Bing and YouTube. In addition to that, you can deselect these, and two new options for scraping copyright free or Creative Commons images now appear. You don't need to use the image scraper tool to find these separately. It's now an option. At the bottom now, we have the image insert type option as well. Previously, the embed base 64, that is the data URL setting, was global, and that was saved in the settings article creator. This has been moved out and moved into the image insert and saved as a task setting. So your default option, the data URL, still being selected. If you want to save your images to your hard drive and then upload those images separately later onto your web server, you can select the Save and Link to Images folder. So once this tool runs, you can find the images folder in your cache, and you can use these images and upload them to your website. Finally, you have the hot link option, and all that does is insert the original image URL and hot links that image in your article. If you are using the dynamic scraper under settings, there is a global wait time between requests setting that's been added. So now if you paste in a bunch of links to scrape, it's going to wait a required number of seconds before going on to the next request. So you can see I've added a 5-second delay here. In the dynamic web page scraper, in addition to inner text, outer HTML, we now have a new setting for inner HTML. Now this is a important change that's been done to the way SEO Content Machine uses the database. Every 15 minutes, SEO Content Machine will check your database for errors or any read lock problems. So if you're using the application, you might notice sometimes if you ran into an error, Let's say you close SEO Content Machine while it was still running and the database was still left in a locked state. If you opened a new SEO Content Machine window, SEM would load, but the problem was your database would be corrupted because it couldn't write new settings. Now, what happens is it will actually show you an error message and it will stop you from accessing the UI. And what it will do automatically for you is go back, exit the app, reload it, and try and restore your database. For those of you using the WordPress post, WordPress XML, and email post tools, the days between posts previously were only positive, so 4 to 29 days. Now you can actually drag this out to negative days. If I set my post at the 1st of April here, you see that after that first initial post, the posts appearing under that will start to be backdated. So it's starting from the 1st of April, it's actually gone back to 2nd of March, then the 3rd of Feb, so it's going backwards. Additionally, for the WordPress poster, anytime it successfully posts an article to your website, the CSV file it creates will also contain the category of that post. There's been a slight tweak to the way the Mass Article Creator works, and this fix was intended to remedy issues where the scraper was unable to find any content and would create files with almost 0 kilobytes in size. No content was found, but it would run the content inserter. So what you had was essentially a failed scraping task, but still creating articles with no content in them. Now SEO Content Machine will check to make sure that there is content before trying to create those files. So when you're doing a big run with lots of keywords, if one of those keywords fails to find any real content, it's no longer going to create those errored articles with just one title in it without any body content. For the final change, it occurs for the question and answers scraping. Previously, when you went to settings, into search engine settings, you had a setting here for Google, which you could select how many questions and answers to drill down and find. This task has been moved local to the task now. For example, in the article creator, inside the questions and answers, you'll see max questions and answers to find. So now that setting has been moved into the task. So now it says 15. So this is where you control how many you want to find. It's no longer a global setting. So if I wanted 99, I would do it in the task, and it's no longer controlled for every single other task. Any other place where you can have questions and answers, such as the writing assistant, you'll find a similar setting here. So for the writing assistant, if I didn't want any questions and answers scraped, I'll put in 0. So this move has essentially taken out the global setting and pushed it locally. And because it's done that locally, it means that you can save some time not scraping questions and answers if you don't need it in your task. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email, info@seocontentmachine.com.